Hi there, everybody. My name's Tom. You're watching Rant District. This video is aimed at Steve, Harmless Rebel. I'm going to link to a video of his below, and he's a good guy to subscribe to if you like metal, also punk music, and a little bit of country. But Steve is having he's calling it a 585 subscribers contest. I don't do contests. I was scarred for life with the very first contest I was going to enter by Dave of the Vinyl Vault, if you guys remember that fiasco, which caused me to re-examine contests and what they're about and blah, blah, blah. So contests are not my thing. That may change down the road, but today, contests are not my thing. But threads are my thing. And this is a really good thread. Steve is opening a record store, and he asked some questions. First off, Steve, you're asking, what's a good name for the record store? The first thing that popped into my head, and it was kind of late last night when I was watching this, was As the Table Turns, play on turntable. And so I did a quick, search for asthettableturns.com, which is available. So you'd have the URL, you'd have the .com, which is valuable, but that name doesn't really grab me. And then just as I was about to nod off, came to me, and I would seriously recommend you consider this one if you haven't thought of it already. I would call your record store Goober State Records. Now, right away, two things just happened. People who are not in Georgia or familiar with Georgia probably just went, that's condescending, that's rude, or that's a funny name, Goober, hey, Gomer Pyle from that show way back when in Mayberry. People from Georgia just went, oh yeah, the Goober State. That's actually a nickname of our state. We produce, I think, the most peanuts in the United States, and a goober is a peanut. Now, I think a lot of people take pride in where they live, and where they live is kind of an identity, so to speak. And I think by aligning yourself with an identity of the state, instead of going hyper local, just something specific to Marietta or something specific to Atlanta, if you want to say hey, this is the Atlanta metro area. And that doesn't leave you a lot of room if you expand to different parts of the state, if you open up other shops. But calling yourself, Goober State Records is something that will work anywhere in Georgia, and probably will, if once you have a name, will carry outside the state, if you get big one day. With a goober being a peanut, that sort of peanut iconic, I don't even know what the word, that peanut image could be used, you're doing make that with peanuts, for punk rock, you have a peanut with a safety pin going through it. For your country section, you have a peanut with a cowboy hat on it. Play on that. But Goober State Records, the URL is available, and I would recommend if you did it, grab gooberstatevinyl.com, gooberstatecds.com, Goober State Cassettes, if you're going to do that.com, and those are all available URLs, with the .coms. Grab everything else associated with it, and redirect to your main website. But I think it would be a great identity. I think it's a good name. I think it's a strong name. Just the sound of it, Goober State Records, to me sounds like a proper name, not something that nobody can remember. Especially in Georgia, people are going to remember, we're in the Goober State Records. That sticks in your head, whereas Harmless Rebel Records may not. And I think it would be a really good brand and a really good identity. And, you can have your bargain bin, records for peanuts, and, have pictures of peanuts, blah, blah, blah. But that's my pitch to you. As the Table Turns, meh. But my second idea, which I think is a strong one, Goober State Records. If you decide to do that, or you don't, best of luck to you, man, in opening a record store. That's so weird that the Atlanta metro area has very few record stores. I'm here in Portland, and there's like a bazillion of them, except in my neighborhood. Go figure. Next thing you asked was, what do you look for in a record store? I don't go to record stores that much. I just want it to be well lit. I think Steve, Flipside CT, had mentioned once, like, overhead fluorescent lights, that are just harsh in the eyes. It's awful, man. Just have good lighting, good organization, and, like, probably have to, like, regularly go through, where people may have moved stuff around, but, have, like, the genre of records be that genre of records, and don't, like, have, like, a punk record over in the metal section, unless it's clearly, some sort of a crossover. But just be well lit, be organized, and be welcoming. There's some snobby record store employees out there. I don't know that necessarily those are the owners when I run into that, but be cool, have fun, and I think that rubs off. Another thing you asked, I think, was, or if you don't, shop at record stores, if you do your shopping online, talk about that. I live in Portland, Oregon. There's a lot of record stores, but not in my neighborhood. In my neighborhood, I mean, probably like 3 to 4 miles right around me, maybe 3 miles. Portland's a pain in the ass to drive around in. I don't drive if I don't have to. So there's really nothing walkable. If I had a record store walkable, I'd probably go there a lot. But, like one of the last times I was in a record store around here, it's a big store, probably the biggest store here. And I go in, I'm walking around, I'm like, oh, they got like this deep section of flipper records. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And I go over and I start flipping through, and they're all reissues. They're all sealed, brand new reissues, but all for like 25, 26, 27, 28 bucks. And I'm thinking, you're out of your fucking mind. I can get the originals for that. I may have to hunt around, maybe take a little bit lower quality, but that's an absurd price. I'm not really a reissue person. Sometimes I get reissues, but blah, blah, blah. So I think you're making a really smart move going with used records. And if there's not a lot of record shops in your area, then you're probably going to have a good shot at buying people's collections, because they won't be able to shop like the 10, 12, 14 record stores, like all in the same place, like you can probably do in Portland. One other thing that bugs me about record shops, and it's just unavoidable, is that if anything good comes into the shop to be bought by the record store to resell, if the record store has a handful of employees or more, one of those employees is grabbing the good stuff. So that really never really gets to the customer, and that's a perk of working at a record store. But that also means I don't really expect to find shit in a record store, so I generally don't look. I think record stores, physical retail record stores, price-wise, are kind of discographied, in that, like Discogs is probably how a lot of record stores price their used vinyl. So the price of a record in a given condition is fairly probably flat no matter where you go. And if it's going to be flat no matter where you go, why am I going to go to a record store and just kind of, hope that a record I want is there, and then in the condition I want with, all the inserts or whatever it came with. If the price is going to be flat for a used record, which is kind of what I look for, I might as well just look online. And if it's a brand new record, I have Amazon Prime, which, where you pay X amount per year and you get free shipping. And I would just buy the record from Amazon because it gets shipped to me for free. And most new records have it comes with auto rip from Amazon. So whether or not it includes a download card, I'm getting the the download version of it just for buying from Amazon, which is really handy when you are driving around. So all in all, I greatly prefer online shopping. I don't like fucking wasting my time in a store where after repeatedly going, there's really not anything there you want. A used vinyl store in an area with not a lot of vinyl stores, that sounds attractive to me. I wish you the best of luck, Steve. Goober State Records, I think, is a really strong name. You got all the .coms available for it. You have an identity. It's people can identify it with it in your state. If you expand and add like 1, 2, 3, 4 other locations within Georgia somewhere, that name applies everywhere. It's strong. I do recommend it if you haven't already thought of it. Best of luck to you, Steve. This is a great idea for a thread or contest or raffle or whatever it is. This is just a thread entry for me. Best of luck, dude, man. You deserve it.